Fellow heroes and Force users of all ages, hello there, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Daniel Dawson, and I am joined by my dear friend and fellow non-Skrull.
That's true.
Alyssa
or is
Simmons.
It? Hello there. Hi.
She's not a Skrull, she's just a lesbian. No need to worry. Today, we are discussing the first two episodes of Marvel's brand spanking new Disney Plus MCU series, Secret Invasion. The first two episodes, entitled Resurrection and Promises, were directed by Ali Salim. I said that right, I hope.
Yeah,
and written by Kyle Bradstreet, Brian Tucker, and Brant Engelstein. And by God, we're probably not Skrulls. And we're Marvel fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron Man.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Wow. Hi.
Hi.
How's it
We're
going?
separate again.
I know.
Separate but together.
Yeah. I'm sad that I missed the Flash discussion and I haven't listened to the episode yet, so I don't know what you all thought of it.
Oh, God. Nobody hates our show more than Alyssa.
than the people on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we start, we want to say really quick what you thought about that movie.
Sure.
Just a quick review, like super,
okay,
like
really
10-second review.
Really quick. I thought it was fun, but I didn't freak out about it.
Yeah.
I thought that there were some fun moments.
Mhm.
I don't know that it had the flavor of the Flash that I like.
That you wanted, that you were looking forward to.
Yeah, which is very much so well, first and foremost,
and your 10 seconds is up.
Oh,
No,
all right, bye.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no. I'll just be quick about it. I didn't feel like there were any detective elements to it, or sort of mysterious
Yeah.
things, and that's one of the
There
things
was a
I like.
hint of it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like so much about the Flash, because he is a CSI and he
Right.
deals with all this police work, and then that coincides with his abilities.
Yeah. It would have
but-
been more interesting if they had because they had that the dark flash at the very beginning of the thing. And if there was a little bit more of a mystery when it comes to that, maybe it would have been.
Yeah. So, as we predicted, it didn't really do well.
No.
It's not doing well because of all the stuff surrounding Ezra Miller.
I mean, I'm sure that's a big part of it. Yeah. I mean,
That's a
and
big
not to
part of
mention
it.
the fact that they announced before that the DCU is inevitably dead. So it's well, why should I even
Right.
care about this?
Why
movie then?
is this even here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I still had fun.
And I think that kind of potentially seals Ezra Miller's fate.
I think so too.
Going forward, I think they're just well, if he can't sell tickets, then what is even
why?
the point? Why deal? Why even deal with the drama if we don't have to?
For sure.
So
For sure. So, but I still had fun. It was obviously fun to see Michael Keaton back in the cowl.
Yeah. Same.
Very fun moments. But yeah, that's my quick Flash review.
Wow, that was the longest 10 seconds of my life.
Yeah. And I'm rewatching the Flash series with Chassis.
Oh,
right
you are?
now.
I heard
and
it's
I'm
good. I haven't
I
seen
love it. I love it. And
Yeah,
so
a lot of
it's
people say
just
it's
so
great.
it's so true to the comics. It's so fun.
I heard it didn't quite end as well as it probably should have.
It
but
didn't. The last 2 seasons were a little rough.
a little chunky because probably just because they weren't aware that they were going to end so soon, right?
I mean, the show was on the air for 10 years, so it's pretty
They
crazy.
had time.
But yeah. Anyways, we're here to talk about
And that's our Secret
And
Invasion.
that's the Secret Invasion.
Episode. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Oh man.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, okay. I gotta hear your generals on the first 2 episodes.
Everyone is a Skrull.
Every single person in this whole series.
I trust no one.
Well,
Look at you.
that's the
what's even
tagline.
us? I'm wearing
Who
green.
do you trust?
And you've got your green lights
I've
on.
got my green lights. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see the green.
It's only green lights and no rights. I generally, I thought it was a pretty. It's a different vibe
Sure.
for Marvel, which is fun. I mean, I really honestly am trying to like compare it to something. I think we're kind of getting back to the. I mean, even though we have like literal aliens in the show, it feels still fairly grounded and earthbound. So we're kind of getting more in the lines of like Winter Soldier type of vibes.
Street level stuff with some magic.
Yeah. So I mean, generally, I think it was pretty good. I mean, if I were gonna give it like a grade, if we want to start there, like how many tauntauns would I give it?
Yeah,
I would probably give it like 3.5 tauntauns out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Combining
if it was
combining the
10
first
tauntauns, I'd give it
the
like
first and the second episode.
Huh?
Combining the first and the second episode, like
your
thoughts on
like
the two
one
of them.
and two. I think
Okay.
if gosh, if I do I like the first or the second episode more? Probably. Well, I mean, the way that the first episode ended, that was the most surprising. It was like, oh, okay,
Shocking.
wow, we're gonna start with terrorist attack. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, like
Yeah.
2,000 people dead. Yeah, I was like, okay, and also with a like 11-year running character dead in the street.
Being dead. Yeah.
And confirmed not to be a Skrull, just like dead. So that was that was some pretty high stakes. I mean, I know she's not like one of the main characters by any means, but I mean,
Well, yeah, but we've been Maria Hill has been on the MCU journey for
since the very beginning.
very beginning. So it's pretty wild to
Say
have
goodbye.
her go out like this. Yeah.
Yowzers. So yeah, I mean, truly, I mean, who?
I was a little sad, honestly, about that.
I
because
know, and a lot
not
of
that I
people
was
are like, you didn't do her justice. It was
Well,
unfair.
Yeah, and we can get into this in a little bit, but like, yeah, I thought maybe this was gonna be like her show with Nick Fury.
Yeah, it is not
Guess
her
not.
show.
Guess not.
Guess not. She got a episode.
Okay, so 3.5 tauntauns.
Mm-hmm.
You like the tone of the show so far?
Yeah, I like after the first episode, I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a lot because I mean the show is not for kids.
No,
Yeah, I
especially
don't,
the second episode.
oh my god,
Jeez.
yeah, with fingers being cut off and
And
my
the
god,
meat-
I was like,
the meat place, the butcher
yeah, I was like,
fight. That was really scary.
yowzers.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was some guy got put like stuck on a hook or whatever.
Oh,
like,
onto the
"Ah!"
onto the like meat cleaver. Thing.
Yeah, I was like,
"Ah!"
yowzers. I know there's a few moments I even flinched.
Wow.
But yeah. It's a little thick right now, which could be a good or a bad thing. I'm not 100% sure, but like we got Skrulls that are trying to cause world chaos basically,
Mhm.
and yeah, and I didn't the fake what's his face? Fake Nick Fury. That took me by
Yes.
surprise. I was like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it really they did a good job of making me not want to trust anyone.
Yeah.
Which is a fun feeling cuz like I now in the second episode I'm just like I don't trust Rhodey, I don't trust
Nope.
anybody, especially since they're all being so mean to each other. I don't know. But what
They
about
are,
you?
and I never. I guess I'll just start off by saying like I never thought I would dislike Nick Fury.
Oh yeah, it's kind of an interesting guy.
And
He's like such a conflicted guy because he like kind of went off of his promise and went away. We still haven't gotten really a good description or like a good reason why yet. I think
yeah,
or good
yeah.
enough reason maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I will say like because I am such a fan of these comics,
Mhm.
I was a little bummed that they have veered so far away from them.
Well, And I'm sure you heard the news. Well, no, I think you maybe even shared the news with me.
Yeah, that they told the director not to read them.
Yeah, which is a really interesting move.
And who knows if that's real or not? I mean, they could be like, read them, but like, don't have this like inform your decisions.
Yeah, because it's like we're not gonna go all the way with that. I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that like the base premise is that there's a Skrull invasion.
Yeah, I imagine
that is the only thing that's similar.
Yeah, and I imagine that Kevin Feige has got to be like, okay, so out of the cast, these are the people that are Skrulls, these are the people that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it has to end up. Go ahead and murder anybody you want, except for these people. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
sure.
Yeah, there had to have been some kind of framework that they gave him.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little scary. Because the stakes are very high. I mean, this is like potentially like the end of the world kind of like we haven't really.
Yeah, and I had a feeling that there would definitely be like they would just have to like do some like character swapping and stuff because in the comics like Mr. Fantastic and Professor X and Sue Storm,
they're all
like,
in it.
They're all like they're all. It's a lot of people that are not
like
around.
The Illuminati's in it, right?
Illuminati, Tony Stark, who obviously. 626, like, we don't have Tony right now, so he'll be back. But yeah, so I guess my generals a bit bummed about that, but I just said get a bit bummed, but get over it. I thought episode 2 did a better job at sort of like creating, like setting up some stuff.
Yeah, there's some good scene work too.
Yeah, like I loved the scene with Nick and Rhodey, and I mean, honestly,
it was surprising too. I was just like, I was expecting it to be this buddy, like, oh, it's so good to see you.
Well, I think you're right. I think Rhodey is absolutely a Skrull.
Something's going on there, right?
My other prediction is that like the president of the United States is probably a Skrull as well.
Maybe. Well, I mean, God, at this point, like every fucking leader.
It could be. Yeah, so
that was a big reveal too. The fact that we got like not just like a handful of Skrulls, but it's like a million Skrulls,
and all those like big world leaders, the prime minister. And...
How are more people not aware of this? Like, if they've been there since the 90s, like,
no, they're not ever.
Although I guess I'm wrong. The majority of the Skrulls didn't get there.
It was 15. It was 15 years ago. That's when
the million people came, or was it?
I think so.
Because it was. I thought it was like post blip or like during the blip that it happened.
Oh, maybe you're right. Because he was talking to Fury about that on the train.
Yeah, he's just like, I didn't know that you were gonna come back, so I called all of them to come, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
maybe.
Fair.
Although, and I wonder. I guess I maybe I'm confused because I it was either during the blip or after, because I think he was once he went up to Saber and just like wasn't like calling anybody and
But
being
now
all
I'm
secretive.
like, but now we know from the last scene of episode 2 that he wasn't just at Saber the whole time. He's like married to a Skrull. He's married to Priscilla, so like he was popping back and forth. Probably.
Maybe. Or she was.
Yeah, I guess. It just, I mean, their house seemed like someone lived in it.
Yeah, right. And that's where he was storing his ring, too. So, I mean, yeah, kind of gives off the vibe that he's probably been there and back again.
Yeah.
But he's been married to her, like, well, we don't really know. But he's had a wife.
I'm sure we'll get some more info on that.
Yeah, because
and I like that. I like giving him that kind of relationship.
Yeah, same. That's fun. Interspecies. I mean, we've had a handful of interspecies relationships. There's been Gamora and Star-Lord. I'm trying to think of other ones, but they don't come to mind.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I will say my favorite person in the series so far is Olivia Colman. And
God. I mean, easily.
I knew that I was gonna love her because I literally love everything she's ever done.
Truly. I forgot that she was in the show when she came on. I was like, oh, now the show can start. Here we go.
I mean, just her like chatty, like she's very James Bond villain, which I love. And
I would love to see her in a James Bond film.
Well, maybe this will be the stepping stool to that.
Get her in there.
She's just great. I love everything she does. So I'm not
Yeah,
surprised
it's kind of
that I love
surprising to
her,
see
but...
her in a. Well, I mean, like they're getting some heavy hitters in the Marvel
Uh-huh.
universe, which is awesome. But it just like coming from she's got such a breadth of range coming from like The
Mhm.
Crown and then going to
Yep.
this. It's like very different. It's fun.
Yeah, and like the same like couple of years, it was like The Crown and Heartstopper. That's
Mm-hmm.
that cute Netflix series, and yeah, I just love her.
She's killing it.
Um, she's great, but yeah. So I guess those are my generals.
That was so
That was pretty
generally great.
general. That was pretty general.
Oh yeah, how many
Well,
tauntauns would you give it?
oh, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 2.7.
Oh wow, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, 2.75. Let's say that.
And I think that probably a lot of that comes from the like knowing how good the comics are, and that this
Yeah,
doesn't really live
I
up
was
to that
just
yet.
sort of, yeah, so far no, but like I, manage my expectations with these shows, especially things that I've
Always.
read the comics for.
Yes.
And we always know that generally like episodes 3 and 5 of these Marvel series like are where like the meat of the show
Yeah,
comes in.
sure. Yeah, the
So-
penultimate.
Yeah, so I'm not worried. I'm still enjoying myself. It's fun to be in this sort of like mysterious spy vibe.
Yeah.
Because that's something we haven't really seen a whole lot of.
Yeah.
So
What do we feel about this the Gravik?
Gravik.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's evil.
Yeah.
He's very evil.
He's like willing to do some really dark shit. Like
Well, and,
basically
like-
willing to like kill. Well, I mean, either kill them all or have them kill each other. I think that's probably. I think you'd rather have the humans all just kill each other as opposed to him doing it. But
Yeah, I
it
would say
sounds
that's-
like it's we're heading into that. I didn't know that it was going to happen. I mean, do we know if this show is going to have more than one season? Did they say that?
they have not.
They haven't.
I would be surprised if it did.
Kind of same, but I guess it's anybody's guess. But yeah, because I mean, if they don't finish it now, then like we're gonna be thinking that in the back of our heads, like basically throughout this entire like the next.
Well, I mean,
however
I don't
many
know
movies.
about you, but like because this is supposed to be taking place after She-Hulk, like timeline
post She-Hulk.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm like,
So this isn't like present time. This isn't like.
I mean, it said present day, but everything that I've read online says like directly after She-Hulk.
Man, that's so
I mean, it's still
confusing.
somewhat present, but for me, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, was that? I mean, like the post-credit scene in Black Panther
Sure.
with Okoye, like I'm like, what? Who are either of them Skrulls? Like
Oh my God! Yeah.
know what I
Yowzers.
mean?
Could be.
Like the implications are scary, which is why the premise is so fascinating because it's like you're being invaded and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Like that's really scary.
Yes.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
Well, I guess should we do like little sort of synopsis of
that would be
episode
helpful
1
for me.
and then we can chat through what happened in episode 1?
Yeah. That'd be great.
All right. So, in Moscow, Talos pursues Everett Ross for killing CIA agent Prescott, who theorized about the Skrulls and this rebellion. And he was frustrated by the lack of progress that Talos and Nick Fury in finding them a new home. They intend to incite a war between Russia and the United States in order to take over the Earth. Maria Hill arrives to assist Ross and discovers that he is a Skrull in disguise. Hill calls Fury, who's been working in space following the blip. Returning to Earth, Fury learns that Talos has been exiled from the Skrull Council and replaced by Gravik, who is leading the rebels. Fury is kidnapped by M16 agents working for his old acquaintance, Sonia Fallsworth. And
Who
if you're
we
wondering,
love.
Sonia, the part that she's playing is a brand new character. She's
Oh,
not,
is that right? That wasn't in the.
not from the comics at all.
Oh, I
Nope.
didn't know that.
Brand new character. And she refuses to work with Fury because she's like, you're old. You, like, my men kidnapped you so easy, and boopity boop.
Yeah, but you don't know
Um,
that I did that on purpose.
Yeah, so
because-
he says he uses a bug to eavesdrop on her and the UK Prime Minister. Fury and Talos locate another rebel who has provided dirty bombs to the rebels. That was kind of a scary
Bombs
scene.
covered in poop. They're so
Dirty
dirty.
bombs.
So
Poop bombs.
dirty.
One of these rebels is Talos' daughter, Gaia, who was unaware that her mother, Soren, had been killed by the rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Gaia reveals the rebels' plan to attack this square. I'm not going to be able to say it correctly. Vosul. I'm not going to try. It's a square in Russia on Unity Day. Sorry. You can read it online. I'm not going to say it. Fury, Hill, Talos attempt to intercept the bombs, but are unable to stop Gravik from detonating them. And in the ensuing chaos, Gravik disguises himself as Fury and kills Hill.
Wow.
Whoa! So much stuff happened.
Well, yeah, and that was another thing I didn't expect too. Was the double cross by Gaia, because I thought, because she kind of gave off the vibe that she was going to help, but it felt like it was a little too easy. But then I was thinking back, I was like, oh, we've been taught in these Disney Plus shows to not, because we've always theorized and been like, oh, it's probably this, but it's like it's always the more simple option.
Mm-hmm.
But this show is potentially teaching us that might not also be true, because she definitely took me for a ride.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna go on even more of a ride with her, because I think
she's gonna triple cross.
I think ultimately she will do the right thing.
Yeah,
I think
and then
it's
maybe
just gonna
die
take,
for it. Sadly,
and it might be too late or something heartbreaking.
And then
but
Talos. Do you think that Talos is gonna make it through this?
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Hard to say. Yeah.
Nick Fury, I think, has to, because he
will.
in
He's not
the
going
Marvels
anywhere.
movie, or Miss Marvel.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, there's
Unless he's a Skrull in that movie. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of a trippy thing to think back on the last few things that we've received from Marvel and be like, was anybody there? And like, were any of our Avengers, like, because that's the premise in the comics, is that many Avengers were kidnapped by the Skrulls, and then the Skrulls came back to replace them.
Right.
So there had been Skrulls with like infiltrating in the Avengers and the Illuminati.
Well, maybe you can help me with this too, because I was kind of like, because I remember hearing about this part of the comics, and then, but I couldn't. I wasn't sure if they were two separate things or if it was the same thing. So, and because in the show, it looks like they're hinting towards like maybe somewhere down the line in the series we're going to see like the super Skrulls. And these are Skrulls that are, infused with, the special DNA that gives them like the powers of, these are the superheroes that we know. So it's, so there's that, but then are there also ones where they're just like, we're Skrulls, but we're just like stronger, buff Skrulls. Skrulls. They're turning into squirrels. That's an upgrade for sure.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, so I'd like, are they just becoming like really hella like buff Skrulls, or are they like also like getting the powers of Wanda, for instance? I mean, like, are they going to be able to?
No, nothing like that.
No.
Yeah, it's basically like super strength, and some of the super Skrulls have the ability to like maintain longer memories from the people that they're assuming. So that's the biggest thing is that, remember the whole like sandwich thing from Captain Marvel
Sandwich.
that Fury always cuts his sandwich in a
Oh,
specific way. Like that's how he
yeah.
could tell the difference because the Skrulls, when they're shapeshifting as someone else, they don't have long-term memories.
Right.
One of the things that happens with this Super Skrull thing in the comics, at least, is that it enables them with this science that they've sort of alluded to in the first 2 episodes. It allows them to like maintain long-term memory from whoever. So it's like really, really hard to tell the difference because they don't give themselves away as easily.
Interesting. So, yeah, because I think I was under the impression that that at some point they're able to, come across as, I'm trying to think of what superheroes did the Skrulls in the comics like emulate?
Oh, so many.
Yeah, like give me an
Like,
example, like just like one of them.
Mr. Fantastic.
Okay, yeah. So Mr. Fantastic. So like that Skrull was able to like do all the things that Mr. Fantastic did.
Correct.
He wasn't just like looked like him, but he was just extra buff and like he actually could like stretch his arms and do all those things.
All the stuff.
Got it. So and now what they're doing in this show looks like might be that.
It seems like it based on like the science thing, because like the way in the first episode when they're like have that ceremony or whatever with that one guy who's like he's ready to
Sure.
take on a face or whatever.
Ooh.
They like did it, and then it's like, and now take his memories.
Right.
And he like touches his hand to it.
Well, that's the guy that ended up being the American, right? He's like, I'm an American.
Yes.
Right?
And his name was.
And the one that gets his finger chopped off by our favorite British lady.
Yeah, by Olivia Colman. I don't remember that guy's name, but he did now.
He
did.
Well, he's not dead. They just pumped him full of all that spicy.
He is.
Oh
he
yeah,
is
right.
Dead.
The very
they
end of
shot
the episode.
him in the head.
The very end of the episode. Well, we didn't see the body. We just heard the gunshot.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
He's probably dead.
But yeah. So, lots of particularly in episode 2, there are like a million Easter eggs. So that's really fun.
Yes. So I mean that's something I'm like potentially the most intrigued about. Yeah, they took the DNA of Groot.
Mm-hmm.
That was
we've got Groot.
the most recognizable one.
The frost beast.
Sure.
Somehow they got some piece of a frost beast
From the Thor world.
From Thor. Cull Obsidian.
Mm-hmm. Which
who
is
who was one of Thanos's
henchman.
Yep.
The one that got his like arm chopped off.
Yes. And an extremis patient.
Right. One of those like flamey dudes from Iron Man.
From Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But so I mean, assuming that's just all the ones that we saw. So
yeah,
Lord knows they have others. So they're just taking on. It just sounds like they're. But yeah, I'm wondering
they're
if
using.
like,
I think they're using all of these. Well, and there was something said in that scene too about oh geez, how did they word it?
in that scene.
In that scene, yeah, where
when they're in the lab.
Yeah, Gravik's person is like, he's told me to look in these places and they're not there.
Oh right, yeah, the
you know what
like
I'm
the
talking
samples or something. Is that what they're?
Yeah,
right,
something like that.
Harvest. He's
the
like,
harvest.
The harvest.
That's the word.
It's like they're harvesting DNA.
They're harvesting,
or something,
and
maybe.
I don't. Yeah. So I don't know. It could potentially be like they're using all of these like
they're going around harvesting DNA from all the supers.
All these different like alien samples in order to do these like super Skrulls.
So yeah, and I mean in this instance, like at least that particular sampling that they gave us, if that's all going into like one person, which
Skrull.
I think to me, I don't know if they're gonna if Gravik's gonna be like the patient zero.
Yeah.
Oh, forgive me, I have a what do you call it? A gardener outside, I think.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Oh, that's
actually.
good. Great.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe I should ask you that question. Do you think that like Gravik will be like patient zero? Or do you think he's gonna have like one of his minions be the first one to get super dep?
It'll probably be him because he's like the scariest and the most evil.
Seems pretty ballsy too. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna win. You know,
Yeah.
this is a war that I'm gonna win because I'm a winner.
Yeah. I'm winning it. I'm winning Earth.
Yeah. So if he was gonna infuse all of those powers into him,
Mhm.
then that doesn't really like equal out to be anybody in particular in our, lineup of heroes.
But if he were to like also, so if he were to have those abilities, right,
Yeah.
as a super scroll, and then he were to like say somehow be Thor as
Right.
well,
Sure.
yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
yikes.
what I mean?
Yikes for sure. So I mean,
Because
like,
now
what-
he's got those super scroll genes plus like the host body of a god.
Yeah, wowie. So this is like maybe the precursor to him like being able to absorb like the powers of
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be my guess right now, but
Mhm.
that could all
like
change.
they might not end the show with him like becoming Thor or something like that. It might just be like
Mhm.
he's like a really fucking strong Skrull.
Or like
that
the
has-
Hulk. Like what if he like did it
Sure.
with like Bruce Banner?
Yikes. Big
I'm
yikes.
scared. I'm so scared.
Well, it's interesting that you say, oh, yeah. Oh my God. The She-Hulk thing where they were taking the DNA of the Hulk. Oh my God. Wow. What if they were Skrulls?
yeah,
Oh my God.
I had not thought about that, but that totally tracks. Because that was left open-ended.
Yeah.
That whole like getting the DNA thing.
And then what other show was it that was like dealing with like terrorism and everything? What show was that? Was that? Oh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds right.
And they also were dealing with a virus of some
Mhm.
sort.
Yeah.
I know that might have not been involved.
It
but
could have not been. Yeah.
who
But
knows? Everybody's a Skrull. Everybody is.
yeah, I mean a lot of people are, and I think we're gonna be dealing with that for potentially
It will be a really
after this series as well.
yeah.
with
Yeah,
other
we're gonna be feeling the
projects.
effects of this for a while, I'm sure. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the show is gonna be ballsy enough to just flat out say, yeah, this dude or this lady, this superhero has actually been a Skrull the entire time that we've known them.
That would be crazy.
That would be wild.
Or I mean, even if it's like not the whole time, but it's been like since the events of
Yeah. Endgame,
Infinity War or
sure.
something, and you're like, what?
Well, and that speaking on that, there was I can't remember who I was looking some things up and
Am I frozen on your end?
Oh,
Because I'm
you
frozen on
you
mine.
definitely are. It looks great though.
It's hilarious.
You
Okay,
look
I'm gonna switch over to
amazing.
the
Oh,
camera.
there you are. There
I just
you
switched
are.
to my other camera.
I'm not going to edit that because it's
No, please
it's
don't.
really
Please
beautiful.
Please don't. And I look like a monkey scroll. So super monkey.
Oh my God. What was I even talking about? I don't even remember now.
Oh God! If Marvel would be ballsy enough to be like, this person was a Skrull the whole time.
Oh yeah. So on that, I was when I was doing my research and reading up, there were some people that were like thinking, well, what about Rhodey? Because that was what I was looking up. I was like, could
yeah,
Rhodey be a
sure.
Skrull? Because he was being super sus, and
I felt like yes, absolutely. And I don't know if it was because they wanted us to be suspicious of him, or
Yeah,
if
I
he
think-
like legit is a Skrull.
for sure. And I so the what was I thinking? Oh yeah, so I thinking on him being a Skrull for like the entire time, or just like for a recent part of time, it probably would make more sense because like I think more sense to be just more recent, just because if you go back to the events of Endgame and like him saying goodbye to Tony, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that would feel
really
No.
cheap and sad, like like that's his buddy, and like you'd have to deal with him like post, like like you break him out of that trance or whatever that he's under, and then be like, oh yeah, Tony Stark is dead. I'm so sorry, and they have to go through that all over. I don't think that they would do that. So.
No, but I think possibly right now, yeah, he is a Skrull.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Gosh.
Well, should I say the synopsis for episode 2?
Yeah, I know we've been sort of dipping into that episode 2.
Yeah, we've been kind of hopping all over the place. So, episode 2 starts out in 1997. Fury meets a young Gravik.
97 was a good year, honestly.
I
don't know about if it were for you or not, but like I was playing
11.
Nintendo 60. No, sorry, I was playing Nintendo 64, like every effing day. And like swimming with my friends.
Yeah. Yep.
And like sleepovers in high school. It was cute. 97 was good.
I was 11, so I was in 5th or 6th grade.
Which was a hard time.
That's not a great time, but it was an okay time for me. The Harry Potter books had just come out, so that was really fun. Let's see what else. Oh, I did my first like lead role when I was that age.
Cute.
I was the Wicked Witch of the West in the
an 11-year-old lesbian.
And I actually was just telling this story the other day because somebody almost missed an entrance at Knott's, and I was telling them my story about the only time I've ever missed an entrance, and it was the first
show you ever did.
First show I ever did.
Oh, jeez.
I was playing the Wicked Witch of the West, and it was the scene where Tin Man, Lion, and Scarecrow are breaking Dorothy out of the witch's castle. And and the witch is supposed to come in and catch them and say like, going so soon. And I missed my entrance.
Excellent.
And I was chilling backstage. Like, I don't even know. And then frantically somebody like came running on, and they had just been kind of like standing there because they were kids. Like, they didn't know how to like get themselves out of that situation.
How to ad-lib. They're just like shooting the shit. They're like, oh, you know what? Like Dorothy's like, I forgot something.
Like, maybe I don't want to leave. I do kind of like it here.
Oh shoot! I forgot my basket. Somebody help me look.
Where's Toto? And so I just ran on stage and said my line, which was going so soon, and the audience lost it because
we've been here for about
we've actually been here for like
minutes.
2 minutes waiting for you to catch us. Anyways, so 1997, a good year for
fun year.
Nintendo 64 and missing stage entrances.
Let us know in the comments what you were doing in 1997.
In 1997. Oh gosh. All right, so where was I here? Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So 1997.
Oh, yep.
Fury meets a young Gravik and consoles him while giving a speech to Soren and the Skrull immigrants, promising to find them a new home. In the present day, escaping from the bombing attack, Fury learns from Talos, that there are millions of Skrulls living on Earth amongst the humans.
Oh my God.
An angered Fury parts with Talos and later meets with Hill's mother, Elizabeth.
That was a great scene too, honestly.
Yeah, that was great. And he explains the circumstances of her death. The U.S.
I wasn't really expecting like a conversation about like race and everything, but like it totally fits and it makes all the sense. And I'd like to have it was like a very unexpected conversation, but like so interesting that he would be like he doesn't want the Skrulls to settle on Earth because he thinks that we're all not tolerant enough, and that's so sad, but it's so fucking true.
It's true. I mean, he's like, humans can't get along with each other, so throw a new species into this. This is not gonna work.
Yeah, it's like you this isn't a happy place for you, unfortunately.
No. So the U.S. is implicated in the bombing attack. Gravik meets with the members of the Skrull Council, who we discover are all these world leaders and very powerful
heavy hitters
people.
It's like the head of NATO, the British Prime Minister, and like
the like head anchor on a news,
on like
news the FX news outlet,
which is
or whatever.
Basically Fox News of the Marvel universe. It looks like
seemed like it. And in that meeting, Gravik is now appointed the new Skrull general.
Anointed.
And Councilmember Shirley Sager refuses to submit. And he allows her to leave unharmed, which worried me in that moment. Like, he's going to find some really horrible way to kill her in a little bit.
Remind me? No, you know what? I'm going to remind myself. I'm going to write it down.
Okay.
Because I'm a
All right.
responsible person.
Okay. So she contacts Talos, who asks her to set up a meeting between him and Gravik. In London, Fury meets with Rhodey and explains to him about the Skrull threat. To Fury's dismay, Rhodes gives him a military discharge due to his presence at the bombing attack. And then we go into this butcher shop scene where our favorite Agent Fallsworth is torturing this person who we discover is a Skrull.
Yeah, she's like
she just chops his thumb right off with those scissors, those like wire cutters. I was like, ah.
Yeah, she kind of like she's like an evil Mary Poppins, you know, just like going around like she looks so prepared. She's like, oh, you know, this needs a little woman's touch.
She's so calm. She's so calm about it too.
Yeah,
it makes
so
it like
pleasant.
even scarier. You're like,
yeah,
ugh.
So pleasantly terrible.
Yeah, and the main piece of information that she wants is the scientists that are involved in Gravik's operation, I suppose. And he does give her their names, and she escapes.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Nope. Gaia secretly discovers that the Skrulls are experimenting with various alien samples: Groot, Frostbeast, Cull Obsidian, an Extremis patient. Afterwards, she accompanies Gravik on a mission to rescue Brogan. That's the guy's name, Brogan.
Ah, there it is.
And suspecting him of having talked, they kill him before they reach the compound. Later, Fury returns to his home where he is greeted by his wife, Priscilla, who is secretly a Skrull.
Whoa.
And that was really a lot of things that happened in episode 2.
There's a lot of things. I think episode 2 had me leaning in a little bit further. I was like, okay, yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
One thing I wrote down that I wanted to speak on because it was garnering a little attention on the interwebs.
Yes.
Was the opening sequence. Did you hear about this?
Oh yes, the AI art.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I heard from a friend who shall remain nameless.
Okay.
That heard from the guy that actually put together this opening, and he was just like, it's interesting that it's getting so much negative. I think I understand the negative response because like from the outside looking in, it looks like, oh, Marvel's just, using
not
AI.
Hiring artists.
Not hiring artists. They're hiring AI, AI. They're just hiring people to give AI a, generated response, and then they're saving a bunch of money. To say that they saved money is probably true, yes.
Sure,
and they're probably flexing, like, it's a flex. They're like, oh my gosh, look how cool this opening is, and it was, like, all done by AI. That's only part of the truth, because apparently the people that there was a team of
course
people
there was. Of course.
that still put this together. Yes, they used AI to
generate those images.
Help generate the images, but that still takes a team of people to, because I don't know if any of you out there have actually attempted to work with AI and manipulate it to give you what you want. It's not it's very cool when it works, but you have to be so good at your prompts that in itself is another art.
Sure.
Because so I would really love to see a behind the scenes making of that sequence, because for anybody that's actually tried, it's I'm sure it was much more challenging than like we're all
just
thinking
like
it was.
let me just upload these like 4 pictures and here's what we get.
Yeah, it wasn't like
Yeah.
Kevin Feige at the computer going like, make me an opening for the Secret Invasion, you know,
Sure.
and like it wasn't. It's not nearly as easy as people think it is. That being said, I'm sure there's, you know, something because they're saving money on, you know, like every frame of like digital artwork like takes a team of people, whether it be like, you know, the actual artists like creating it or the color.
Yeah, and Marvel
correction
Marvel
people and-
responded to all of this stuff.
Did they? Oh, what did they
and
say?
Yeah, they basically said what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
Like this didn't take jobs away from people. Like there was still a team working on this whole opening credit sequence. It wasn't
Yes.
like we just like it generated AI images and then put it into a PowerPoint. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that.
Right. And it's yeah, and it's probably, you know, shame on them for not like fully explaining it ahead of time because I think they probably would have known that it would have made people go like, I don't feel right about that.
Especially right now amidst like all the strikes.
Yeah,
and
that too. It was really
it's
poor
just,
timing.
It was not a great timing, and
Yes.
there probably should have been some disclaimer when that original article came out that like, isn't it so cool that AI generated these images? It's like,
no, it's not.
I mean,
yes, and.
Yes, and also it didn't take jobs away.
Yeah.
So that's the piece of information that needed to be shared.
Yeah, and I think that going forward, we're gonna have to be a little more, you know, forgiving when it comes to AI things because AI is a thing. You know, whether we like it or not, it is like it's a thing, and it's going to continue to be a thing, and maybe even more of a thing. And it's like you kind of either have to like hop on board and like let it help you, or you know.
I think like anything else in life, it absolutely could and can be embraced.
Yeah.
If there are protections placed in order.
Yes. And
like for me, so here's an example. I went and did a session a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the
voiceover
session. And the guy who was directing in total jest was like, "Oh, Alyssa, it's so great to have you here. Can we have you just like read the dictionary right now?" And I was like, "That's so funny, but also like real."
Yeah.
Like it absolutely could and would be possible, and people are using it this way to eliminate
the need
and eliminate the need for what we do for a living.
Well, you know what's scary is that like nowadays they don't even need you to read the dictionary. Like really, as long as they have like a long enough sample,
some form of sample of you talking, they can manipulate it how they need to.
I have seen some very hilarious but also scary TikToks of like Barack Obama like fighting with Trump like about like a Minecraft game that it's absolutely ridiculous.
So I think as long as there are like protections in place, and
we desperately
like I
need
said,
guardrails.
We aren't
for sure.
Like in a situation like these credits.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a cool way to incorporate it. And like you said, it still takes someone with skill and ability as an you know, artist rendering this work.
Yep.
To create the ultimate end product.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it's in conjunction with that, then like I'm cool with it. But
yeah, I think same. I think it's like you know, a lot of people complained. I know it's not completely the same thing, but when Pixar kind of blew everybody's mind with Toy Story, and then like we're like, oh, let's start making more cartoons like this because people seem to like it, and then all of a sudden, all of the cell, you know, painted backgrounds, like beautiful, like, you know, hand-drawn art is now like a thing of the past, unfortunately. And like, you know, I mean, fortunately too, because we've gotten some really cool new types of animation, but you know,
it's definitely like there's room for lots of different things.
Yes.
Like I don't think it's like just one or the other, but
Totally. Like we
but
will
if it comes-
gravitate towards something that well, they will gravitate towards whatever makes them more money.
Correct. Which ultimately is which is what the main concern is right now, in conjunction with the writer's strike and with the potential strike of SAG.
Right.
And
because at the time, like, Toy Story was definitely not the cheapest. It was probably by far the most expensive way to do it, but they were just flexing their muscles.
Brand new technology.
Yeah. So we're kind of hoping that they do more stuff like that. Like, if you're going to use AI, then use the money that you saved and, like, give us something really effing cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For goodness sakes. Sorry about that, but I figured it was worth talking about.
Yes. That is definitely, I feel like if you Google Secret Invasion, that's like still one of the main things that's popping up right now about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting that it's like
not even about the show itself. Yeah.
Well, it's like about that, but it's about, like, you know, something trying to take over the human race.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right. Like,
it's
a
a little scary.
A little meta. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I mean, we've kind of been talking about the main plot points of episode 2. We kind of jumped all over the place.
Yeah.
But going into episode 3, I guess, like if you had to speculate, where do you think we might be going?
Where the hell we're going?
Yeah.
God, I mean, truthfully, I have no idea. But my thought is that, you know, now that Fury is, you know, quote unquote out, he's no longer in, although when he's out, he's always in.
Well, I mean, isn't that like always the joke with like every like detective story or whatever? The second they get kicked off the force is when they're like, this is when the shit's really going. Like, that's when they like, that's when suddenly they care even more about it. That's like every spy movie, right?
Yeah, it's pretty on the nose. Yeah, I was gonna say that I suspect he's gonna like get help from the most unlikely of places, you know, like, so he's probably gonna get more help from our from the Queen of England. What's her face?
Sonia Falsworth.
Yeah, Sonia Falsworth. I think we're gonna have another meeting between the two of them, probably.
Definitely.
Like, you know, I don't like your tactics, but I need your help. So
that feels like definitely something that's gonna happen in the next episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know,
especially now that she knows the scientists that are involved.
Yeah. Yeah. That information is gonna be shared at some point with Nick, and then we're on a first name basis, me and Nick. I think I don't know if we're gonna get super graphic right away. Maybe that'll be the penultimate. Maybe they're gonna save that for that.
That feels like it's still a couple episodes away.
Yeah. But we're gonna get, I think, a little bit more, because it feels like did they do this with the first episode too, or no they didn't, because there was a little jumping around in time, wasn't? Yeah, right. Because at least the second episode they started, we're like, we're back in 1997.
Second episode they did more of that,
so
which I thought they were gonna do in the first. So.
Right, same. But I wonder if we're gonna get that again in episode 3. If we're gonna get now that we've met the wife, if they're gonna jump back again and give us
a bit of their history,
just a little bit. That'd be nice.
That feels like it's probably a good guess.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little short love story, maybe.
Yeah,
should be really interesting and random in the middle of a
spy.
Yeah,
spy story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you gotta make us care about these characters. You know. Yeah. How would you? Oh yeah, you already gave your grade. You gave it on both the episodes, and you like this one better.
I think I like the second one better, just because I feel like it.
I think so.
It leans more into the genre that of this show.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming around the mountain.
Oh, you know, one thing I wanted to look up and I didn't, because I'm a effing douchebag, was
what?
Wait, is it? Oh yeah, Promises. I'm gonna look this up because, do we know what her mother's name was.
Maria's?
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That's also Hitler's middle name, apparently.
Yeah, so we've been told.
So we've been told by musical theater. I was just thinking, like they
myself.
who is it played by?
Who played Elizabeth?
Yeah,
Let me look that up.
I am looking it up right now too.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see who wins.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Elizabeth.
It's just Maria Hill's mom, played by Juliet Stevenson.
What has she been in?
She's been in some things. She was in.
She's British.
Oh,
I
she
could
was
tell
in The Secret
that.
Invasion.
Yeah,
you
you gotta be kidding me.
You could tell. You could tell she was British. Like her American accent was fine, but I was just like, I think that's
Yeah, she's
a little
yeah.
different.
Yeah, you sound a little bit different.
Honestly, it's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, but it isn't necessarily. I mean, because she's in British things.
Oh, I know her from Bandit Like Beckham and Emma.
Oh,
Yeah,
Emma,
she's-
sure.
Yeah, she's been in so much stuff. Wow.
She's
Look at
a
that.
popular actress, but I thought she was well cast because I like
Yes.
there was times where I was just like my first time I leaned in, I was like, did they just put what's her face in old makeup and have her play her own mother?
Kobe Smulders.
I don't know, it should have
That
been a
would be
really weird choice,
hilarious.
but
Uh,
I was like, come on, Marvel, you got more money than that.
nope. Gotta use the same actor. She's on salary.
Yeah.
Um
It'd be a
yeah, I
fun way
really
to
liked
keep her
that.
on
I really
payroll.
liked that scene. I appreciated those like one-on-one with Nick Fury scenes. I liked the train scene with him and Talos,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the Rhodey and him restaurant scene.
They're really
And-
kind of like showing a well, it's interesting too because we've already seen a trailer for the Marvels with Nick Fury in
Yes.
it,
Right.
and Nick Fury, at least in that, feels a little bit more of the Nick Fury that we knew, like
Mhm.
somebody that's a little more confident in his
Yeah, pre-blip.
and a little bit more put together. I don't know if that's like the right word to say, but like in this show, like we're seeing like a fairly broken down,
Mhm.
like a little more casual looking.
Well, and like they've been sort of talking about that too. I mean, the scene. I think these were both in the first episode, but with Maria,
Oh,
he had that scene with her where she was like, I don't think you're ready for
Yeah.
this. And same thing with
grab
with
it.
Sonia, with Sonia.
Oh, and Sonia too.
Yeah, she was like, sorry, like you're not who you once
you
were.
are old. You are ugly.
You embarrass me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gravik even said too that he was talking
Mhm.
about how he's
Yeah, he was an ether.
yeah.
Yeah, he's old and yeah.
So I think we're gonna see this is sort of like also acting as Nick Fury's comeback special.
Yeah, for
Maybe.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
him getting his strength.
Getting his groove.
back. Getting his groove.
Fury gets his groove back.
Yeah. Nick Fury back in the habit.
Oh, Sister Act 2. Great movie.
I want to see Sister Act 3 starring
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. That would be great.
Yeah, so we've got 6 episodes total of this, so we're
Four more
already
left.
a third done, which is wild. But yeah, I have a feeling the things that are discovered in this show are going to have quite large implications for the MCU as a whole.
Big time.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. And not even just for the future, but even the past too, which is so
Yep.
fun. Like it'll just make,
Yeah. Oh, I saw something because people are trying to speculate about how that scientist has obtained these samples
Oh,
of the different things.
sure.
And somebody was like, "Oh, well, there's got to be some Skrull that infiltrated Wakanda
Oh,
because Groot had like all of his arms ripped off and stuff in Wakanda."
Sure.
Yeah, interesting. So I don't know.
they're everywhere. Wowzers.
Well, do you have any other thoughts and feelings before we say bye-bye?
Well, you know what we didn't talk about? What's his face? Who was a Skrull? The very opening scene.
Yeah, we did talk about.
We did
that.
talk about him briefly, but I guess my final thought is that is not the last that we've saw.
Agent Ross.
Not the last that we've seen of Ross.
No, because remember that's what I said in that post-credits scene in Wakanda Forever.
Oh right, because it takes.
It's Okoye. It's Okoye helping Ross escape. Remember?
Wait a minute. He helps him escape from being a Skrull thing?
She helps him escape from that prison van.
Right. So we're thinking that was him being under the Skrull's trance thing?
Or maybe Okoye is a Skrull.
And took him to be a
Skrull. Took him.
Oh my god. So yeah, we're gonna hella see.
Oh yeah, Ross is not gone.
We're gonna see the real Ross.
The real Ross.
Eventually.
Yeah, he's potentially being held somewhere
by
the Skrulls.
Wow. I'm excited for that. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so one thing that I have been thinking about, even though this is obviously veering quite far away from the comics, is that these comics sort of jump-started into the Young Avengers storylines and the new version of the Thunderbolts.
Right. Well, yeah, because they we had these discussions. He's just like, well, should we call? I think Rhodey said, well, we'll just call them. He's like, no, we don't want to get them into this. Because he was afraid. Was hinting that he doesn't want them to also become Skrulls, which is, telling us, oh, they're either already Skrulls or that's definitely going to happen.
Right.
But also hinting to that we need a new set of heroes potentially. Yep. Yeah. So I think that's coming up soon for sure. And you talked about the Thunderbolts. I think somebody even mentioned what's her effing face. Being a Skrull. Purple.
Oh, really? Wearing... Valentina?
Yeah. I mean, she's a prime candidate because she's a character we don't really know much about yet. And
she's just randomly popped in and started creating this super team.
Yeah, and she's got her fingers in a lot of pots. Very politically powered. Person, and it would be a very easy move for Marvel to be like, yeah, she's a Skrull. Sure.
Wow.
Well,
that was the first 2 episodes of Secret Invasion.
Hella excited. A fairly okay start,
Yeah,
but it still
so
makes me excited about where it's going. You know what I mean? If it maintained this level the whole time, I'd be like, okay. I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily
your favorite.
Wouldn't be my favorite, but I was like, I had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe it'll get crazy and really good.
Yeah, we'll see. Usually episodes 3 and 5. So talk to us.
That's the next one. Oh my god.
That's the next one. Yeah. Let us know what you thought of the first 2. If you have, thoughts and feelings that we didn't cover.
Yes, and don't forget to like and subscribe. For goodness sakes.
Yes, we're on the YouTube. We're on Instagram. Those are our main ones.
Yeah,
and obviously Apple, Spotify, all those shablammies.
All those shablammies. And don't forget, we're coming back very soon. I think next week we're going to be doing a review and commentary on the new Indiana Jones movie. Wow. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Well, hope you're all doing as best you can. And and we'll talk to you soon. This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
May the force be with you always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.